Stampers, and welcome to another Make It Monday with me, your host, Laura Buechler from Inkyfingers Papercrafting. I'm here to get creative with you again today on this Monday afternoon. I don't know about you all, but here in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, BC, it is like a beautiful, crisp, fall, sunny day outside. And it's the end of October, so I don't know. I'm just soaking it in as long as I can before the gray and the rain and the, dreary November comes along. It won't be very long. So I'm here to craft with you today and enjoy this day together. And I hope you'll join me. We're going to be making a beautiful sunflower card. And I'll tell you how this could be any different kind of flower that you want. But before we jump into that, I want to remind you, stick around to the end of the video and you'll see me give away this card, which we made last week on Make It Monday, the spooky ghost card made with no Halloween products whatsoever. And I'll be giving that away to one lucky winner. If you would like to win this week's card, all you need to do is share the video. So you can go ahead and do that anytime you're ready. All right, let's get started here. Isn't this a gorgeous card? I love it. Now, I have created these flowers with very, very traditional autumn colors, but you could make them into daisies. They could be blue, they could be pink, they could be purple. They could be any kind of flower that you want. Your imagination is the only limitation, as usual, when we're crafting. So I'm going to show you how I did that with the Abundant Beauty masks. These are such a cool product. Now, first of all, these are in your autumn catalog, the September to December mini catalog, and they are only $14.50, and you get 7 masks. Okay, so let's start with the easy ones. This mask, and by the way, when I say mask, it's just a fancy word for stencil. So there's a stencil that will help you create beautiful autumn leaves. There's a stencil that does this houndstooth pattern, which is really cool. And there's a stencil that does snowflakes. Now, the autumn leaves are easy to imagine. We all know what autumn leaves look like, but I did a couple samples for the houndstooth here and the snowflake to show you what those look like. So these are all in one set, and then there are these 4 that combine together to make the flower picture. So we've got, the 3 flowers here. We've got the 3 leaves, 3 detailed centers, and 3 non-detailed centers. And I'll show you how to use each of those. All right, so let's get started. No more chattering, just getting started. I'm going to get my adhesive. What I've got here is my silicone mat, always trusty silicone mat. Keep it on hand when I'm crafting. And I'm just going to put like a teensy tiny bit of adhesive, just such a small little bit of adhesive, and stick that right down to my silicone mat. Now what I've done is I have cut this piece of white cardstock to 6 by 6, which is the same size as my silicone mat and the same size as these masks that we're going to use, or stencils. Don't let that word mask intimidate you. So you'll see that each of these, the 4 that go together, they have these little notches, and you might even be able to see they are numbered. So we've got a number 1, number 2, oh, these are in the wrong order, number 3, and number 4. So if you line them all up with those notches together like that, that is the exact orientation for each layer of the stencils to come together properly. So what I wanted to do, and I got this tip from another demonstrator, is to use, uh-oh, have I got my, I'm going to have to run off and get my painter's tape. I'll do that in a second. But I wanted to use the stencil, the cardstock, and the silicone mat all together at the same time and being the same size. Now, once you get more confident with using these stencils, you can absolutely cut your cardstock to whatever size you want. Don't worry about making it 6 by 6. I just thought, as I'm starting out getting comfortable with this product and with this technique, this is a great place to start, making everything the same size, and then it's easy to line up everything exactly the way I need it to be. Okay, painter's tape. All right, grabbed my painter's tape, and I'm just going to tape that whole assembly, the stencil and the cardstock and the silicone mat, down to my grid paper. And my grid paper is there to catch some extra ink. Now, why do we need extra ink? I'll tell you. First of all, I want to let you know that you can use these stencils with pretty much any coloring tool that you like. You could use the markers, the blends, pastels. I'm going to be using the blending brushes today. You could use sponge daubers. You could use all kinds of different stuff. You could use spritzers. Now, because I'm using the blending brushes, and I've done this a couple of times, but the first time I did it, I didn't know what I was doing. I just went right on in and tried to figure it out myself. And this is what I ended up with. And this result is from too much ink. Okay, so now I have learned, and you get to learn from my mistakes, that what you want to do is ink up your blending brush and then tap some ink off. And that's what this grid paper is for tapping that ink off. So I'm going to ink up my brush and I'm going to tap off a bunch of ink. And then I'm going to bring it onto my project. Now, anytime that you see me like tapping off some ink or stamping off or anything like that, the thing is that I can always go back in. I can say, you know, this isn't as deep a yellow as I wanted it to be. I want to add some more, and that's totally fine. But it's really, really hard, friends, to take that yellow off once you've put it on there. So be what's the opposite of generous? be Scroogey with your ink, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm bringing in my crushed curry ink on all three of these flowers. And I like how that's looking. And the nice thing about this too is anytime I want to take a peek at what it's looking like underneath, I can just lift that up. We'll zoom that in a little bit. And that's what my project is looking like right now. So it looks really cool. I'm really happy with that. But I want to add some more dimension. So I'm going to be kind of brave here, kind of bold. And I'm going to bring in my copper clay ink and get a different blending brush. See, I've helpfully labeled my brushes because I used this technique on a class recently. So I'm inking up my brush and I'm removing some ink, and I'm just going to bring that in on some of the petals. Not all of them, but just some. Okay, so how does that look when we take a look underneath the stencil? Pretty cool. I kind of want to blend that in a little bit more, and I can easily do that. I see we've got a couple people watching. Thank you so much for joining me here on Make It Monday. Where are you joining me from? I really appreciate having some people to chat with. So you see, like as I'm adding my ink, it's getting all over the stencil, and that's okay because it's not getting over my project in the center there. The stencil is blocking that from happening. All right, so I'm happy with the work I've done with this first stencil. I'm going to take it off. Ooh, that looks so pretty. And I'm going to get the next one, the number 2 stencil. And again, as long as I put that notch right at the same place that the first notch was, up in the top left corner, then everything's going to line up really nicely. So I'm going to tape that down, and you can see already that the leaves, oh, my silly light is reflecting right on there. There we go. The leaves are going to line up right in between the flowers. So let's get our garden green ink. Oh, thank you for hitting the heart button. That's fantastic. I always appreciate it when people hit the heart button on Make It Mondays because it lets Facebook algorithm know that Make It Monday is really fun and that it should show the videos to lots of people. So thank you so much for doing that. So same technique, I'm inking up my brush and I'm tapping off some ink on my spare paper, and I'm filling this in with my blending brush. And you can use all kinds of different, like you can go round and round, you can go up and down, experiment with what you like. And, you know, you don't have to be, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. You don't have to be super careful with your brush, because even if I brush up here like this, the ink is gonna go onto the stencil. It's not gonna go through onto my flowers. The only part of the project that is going to receive any ink during this part is these 3 leaves that are cut out of the stencil for me. So I'm not gonna say it's foolproof, but it's pretty close. Ooh, I like that. A little bit of a deeper color there. Garden green. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking that. All right. Oh, sticky bit on my mat. Let's have a look. Okay, that is gorgeous. I tell you, it is hard to go wrong with these stencils, right? Other than my first time around when I was not tapping off my ink and I was just ladling it on. It really does not look as gorgeous as I want it to look. Okay, now I'm going to go with, we have a couple of options here, and I think, let's see, if I put this one down and I fill it in with my blending brush, what's going to happen is it's going to have solid, or look here on my sample card, it's going to have a solid center filled in. And that's totally fine. But what I want to do this time is I'm actually going to skip this number 3, and I'm going to go straight to the number 4. Got my notch up in the top left again. And the number 4 is going to give me a detailed center. And then maybe I'll go back to number 3 and add a solid center, but I don't know. We'll just see how I'm feeling at the moment. We've got options. Okay. So that's all lined up the way we want it to be. I've got the copper clay ink again and my blending brush. I'm going to tap off, and then I'm going to fill this in. Ooh. Copper clay is a very strong, rich color. So I probably should have tapped off more before I did that first center, but oh well. The thing about giving a handmade card to somebody is they don't know what was in your head when you were trying to make it. They're not going to compare what they receive to how you thought it was going to look. They're just going to think it looks amazing no matter what. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I know I just made it myself, but friends, that is stunning. I love it. It's gorgeous. So, okay, I'm going to be brave, even though it's already so gorgeous and I kind of don't want to mess with it. I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to try this number 3 in addition to the number 4. Okay, and we'll see. What I want to do is I want to use such a light color that it's not going to overpower the copper clay. Well, and we already said the copper clay is pretty strong. So, okay, I think I'm going to try wild wheat. And I'm just going to put it like such a teensy little amount of wild wheat. So I've got my same yellow brush from before. I'm going to rub it off on my paper because it's got crushed curry ink on there already. So if you're ever wondering, can I use more than one color on my blending brushes? You absolutely can. Just rub the ink off as well as you can, either on grid paper or on microfiber cloth, or I could even just go run this under my bathroom tap, and that would be fine. Okay, wild wheat. Here we go. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Oh my goodness. I think it's going to look good, friends. All right. This will be the first time that I've used all 4 masks on one project. So let's have a look. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It looks terrific. I'm so happy with that. Oh my gosh. Okay, now quick before I put my masks away. Oh gosh. My silly dog is barking. Sorry about that. Before I put my masks away, hey, enough. Enough. All right, I want to talk briefly about how to clean these masks. And we talked about this a little bit on last week's video. So my first tip would be, as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to run these under the sink. I'm going to leave them aside to dry, or you can dry them with a dish towel, and all the ink will go away and they'll be as good as new. If you are a silly goose, like I was a couple of weeks ago, and you just put your masks off to the side, your masks or your stencils off to the side, and you forget to clean them, and the ink kind of sets onto that stencil, that plastic of the stencil, the best tip, which a wonderful crafter named Holly sent to me, is use hand sanitizer. If you've let that ink sit and it's not coming off in water, use some hand sanitizer and it will come off really easily, which is confirmed this morning when I tried it on this mask, which I used last week to make the spooky ghost. And remember, it had black ink all over it. Well, now it doesn't anymore. It only has yellow ink all over it, which is from today. So that's fine. All right, so now we've got our beautiful sunflower. We're going to take it. Remember, I had put that little bit of adhesive on here to get it to stick to the silicone mat. We don't need that anymore. What I'm going to do now is trim this down to size. So just going to grab my trimmer and I'm going to take this down to 3 3/4 by 5. So let's start like that. And yes, it's going to take away some of the beautiful stenciling that we did, but that's okay. It'll still be gorgeous. And I'm going to go up here. And I'm trying to take off kind of equal sides from top and bottom, or equal sizes from top and bottom and from side to side, so that the design stays in the center of my cardstock. So now I've cut this down to size. Now I'm ready to put it onto my card. And actually, oh my gosh, I'm so happy with how this looks. Now this is an optional step because this looks just gorgeous as it is. But if you want to add a sentiment, now is the time to do that. So I have got Thinking of You from the Go-To Greetings stamp set. And I'm going to just stamp this in copper clay. And because it's copper clay, that really lovely, strong color, it can go right over top of that leaf and it's not even going to be a problem because it still shows up really strong and high contrast. Okay, so that's that. Now we can assemble. I'm going to pop that on the copper clay layer. And then onto our card base. Final touch, let's add a little bit of copper clay twine. And I'm going to just tie this into a little bow. There we go. And grab a glue dot. I'm going to trim these ends a little bit. Pick up the glue dot, and I'm going to pop that right in there. There we go. Thinking of you. And that's my card. What do you think? If you'd like a chance to win this card, just share the video. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know that you've shared, because Facebook doesn't always tell me who has shared the video. And if you're interested in picking up yourself a package of these decorative masks or stencils, they are $14.50 from my online store. They come with the whole set of 7. And as I said, you can use all kinds of different tools with them. And if you place an order from my online store, I will be sending you some tutorials as a thank you gift. So thank you so much for joining me today for Make It Monday. As I said, you can purchase all the products that you saw me use today on my website, Inkyfingers.ca. And while you're there, you'll also find more project tutorials, my events calendar for in-person and virtual events, all the current catalogs, and the sign up for my email newsletter. I hope you have a great day, everyone, and a terrific week. Happy stamping, and see you next time. Bye.